Okay, first things first, I pre-ordered the M1 iMac 2021 in green and it's coming in a couple of weeks time. But I really wanted to do this video because I felt that the iMac that is coming has some things that I felt is lacking. And there are 6 key things that I would like to share with you. So stay tuned. So it's actually a bit of a conundrum. I'm obviously an Apple fanboy user and I do hope Apple will watch my channel and maybe take some of my advice, but okay, that's for another day. First thing, I really like the colors on the new iMacs. They are wonderful. There's 7 of them. They look absolutely beautiful. I've seen unboxing videos online, so you can see that those colors are really nice, and I settled for the green, right? And they do also have matching accessories, the same color tone keyboards, mouse, and even the trackpad. Oh yes, and even the power connection is color coded to the color of your iMac. So that's typical of what Apple would do. And next is the screen real estate. It has increased from 21.5 inch to a 24 inch now, which I think is kind of a good size. It's neither too small or too big like the 27 inch that the previous model had an option for. So I think the next iteration will probably be seeing a 24 inch still, but with a 27 inch heading up to a 30 inch probably. That would have been the pro model for all users, right? I think that would be the epitome of the iMac. And if you really do need a larger screen rather than the 24 inch that they have right now, you can easily just hook it up via the Thunderbolt port at the back using the right cable, and you can get whatever screen size you want, right? An external monitor, and that will probably solve your problem. But one thing I also felt that Apple has been going towards the design that is similar to what the iPad Pro had, the iPad Air, and even the iPhone 12. They seem to have this unibody slick design, and I think there are some sacrifices that happens when you do something like that, which comes to the start of the 6 things that I felt Apple would have changed. And number 1 would be the tilt only screen. Yes, again, as per the previous iMacs, you can only do a tilt only screen. You can't do a horizontal or vertical shift in the height to help with your ergonomics. I just wish Apple would have put it into this latest iMac to help in that sense ergonomic. If not, you have to get a third-party accessory, a stand or something just to prop it up to the right height, and you can only change the tilt. I guess it's due to the design of the unibody design. The body of the iMac is now, I think, about 11.5 mm thick. So with that small amount of space, there's really a limited amount of things you can do, right? And this also leads me to the next item, number 2 on the list, which is the chin and the bezel. Let's talk about the chin first. Yes, the chin is typical of an iMac design. So once you see a chin like that, you can identify more or less straight away that it's an iMac, right? So with that thin body, you definitely still have to retain the chin. It's not that bad, but I wish the chin would have been smaller, but I do understand that they have to cram so many electronics in there. They can only put it at the chin area, right? And the next thing is the bezel. It only comes in white. So white is distracting for some, and it's distracting for me, I would think so. I've been always used to black bezels. So this is something that I find that maybe Apple could have explored with a black bezel. Maybe they did, and probably the color tones doesn't match with the black bezel and they had to use white instead. But that's just me, that's just my design or my quirk that I wish that it was a black bezel instead. Third on the list is the M1 chip or the processor, which has been around since late last year. So I would wish that Apple would come up with an M1X version. Well, that's just me. I hope that they come up with something that makes it more enticing for you to buy, like a more powerful version of the current M1 processors, differentiate even further. But I guess this is what Apple is trying to do, to keep costs down, to keep things simple across the whole range, and to let new users to the iMac come in at a comfortable level and still having a very powerful processor like the M1, which can easily outrun the previous generation to start things off. So, but I still would have wished for an M1X version. And number 4 on the list is the lack of Face ID. Yeah, Face ID seems to be the way to go, but I thought they would have tried to put this on the iMac to upgrade the 1080p camera to something even better. That could have elevated the iMac to another status, and you could have done your video calls much better. Yes, you have the 1080p, which is good enough, but it could have taken things to another approach, right? And that's one thing I felt that Apple could have done better, and they only had provide a Touch ID, and that's on the keyboard. You're not even getting anywhere else except the keyboard. And the base model which I bought doesn't even come with Touch ID. You have to fork out more to get the one with the Touch ID. So I would have wished Face ID would have been in. And number 5 on the list is the lack of ports. There's only 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on the device, your headphone in jack and your power connection. That's it. No other ports. The previous version even had SD card reader, 4 Thunderbolt ports, and you also even had the Ethernet port. And yes, the Ethernet port for the new iMacs has to be bought separately. Yeah, we don't use much Ethernet, we are all on Wi-Fi now, but why can't they just have more ports? At least have more Thunderbolt or USB ports for us to use, right? Then that'll be easier. And iMac is more likely suited for people who are into creativity, and an SD card slot would have made things much easier rather than having to buy a third-party device to be able to access all the ports that we need. So lack of ports is something which I really find that Apple could have helped. Yes, the newer higher-end model had 4 instead of 2, but again, that's about it, right? So maybe Apple could have considered having more ports in the next version. Last but not least, number 6 on the list is that there is no killer feature on iMac. Okay, maybe the M1 chip, but again, it has been launched in the Mac Mini and the MacBook Airs. What else? Is there anything else that I could find myself buying other than the design language, the colors, the ability to only tilt? You know, these are the things that are just so typical of the iMac. There is no typical killer feature. Maybe a wireless charging function at the base of the stand could have been helpful, or maybe something that is special, but there is nothing. So again, Apple is just probably taking this iMac as a stepping stone to future iMacs, which would probably blow us out of water with maybe the new M2 or M1X chip. So that is one thing I felt that's lacking for the current iMac. There's no killer feature. But again, there's just me and my 6 points that I want to bring up. So I do hope you like this video. Please support this channel by subscribing, by liking, by hitting that notification bell right below to support me so that I can churn out videos like this. And to those people who continue enjoying, please share them with your friends, and hope to make more videos like that. And stay tuned for my next video for the iMac when I get it in the next few weeks. See you!